The last thing I want to touch upon today is exam techniques. So the first slide is about time management, how we allocate the time. So the paper is 3 hours and 15 minutes. We all know that, right? So the paper is 3 hours and 15 minutes. So what I suggest is that reading and planning time should be 15 minutes and remaining time should be for drafting. In my experience of the last 4 pre-seen papers, you need maximum 10 minutes to quickly go through the exhibits and go through the requirements, but let's say 15 minutes. So in the first 15 minutes, guys, can you please stop commenting? I want you to focus here and not ask irrelevant questions and distract other students. So in the first 15 minutes, what are you supposed to do? Copy paste all tasks on the scratch pad. After copy pasting, read all tasks and identify the topics or the questions. Then take a quick look at each exhibit and note exhibit number on the scratch pad. I don't want you to read the exhibit in detail, just take a quick look to see that this exhibit pertains to which requirement. And then decide the sequence of your answer, which means easier question first. So this is the planning I want you to do in the first 15 minutes, right? So let me start again. The first thing is all tasks in the scratch pad. So I'll show you why I'm saying it. So when you will open the paper, when you open the paper, only one task is available, right? The other task is on the next page and the another task is on the another page. For me, I think it's easier if I know all the tasks in one page, right? So because it's not possible to remember all the tasks. So because the tasks are scattered, I think it's better if we copy paste all the tasks on one page so that we have a full view and we can plan. So it's very simple. You see the button scratch pad? Just open this. Okay. I'll take it on one side. I will open task number 1, only the technical requirement. Control C, Control V, Control C, Control V. Done. I will go to the next task. This will maximum take 1 minute. Control C, where is the scratch pad? Here. And part B. All right, I will go to the third task. What I have done is now I have bought all the tasks on one sheet, scratch pad. So now I know prepare briefing note outlines the problems in the culture. So I know that this one is about outline the problems in the culture. Second one is explain the key roles of NEDs. Assess the importance of having a diversified board. So I know the topics now. I'm just highlighting the topics: problems in culture, NEDs, diversified board. assess the suitability of the proposal to invest in flight simulation technology, principal risks and consequences of each risk, assess the performance in the latest financial year, content to be reported to key stakeholders, environmental and sustainability audit report. So now I know in one look, these are the topics which I need to talk about: culture, role of NED, importance of diversified board, something to do with AI flight simulation technology. I need to talk about principal risks, latest financial performance year, and it's something about environmental and sustainability report. So, and from here, you just open the exhibit. You just take a quick look at it. So I think that it talks about the board, the NEDs. So I think part culture, this one is question number 1 is exhibit 1. It talks about culture, NEDs, online investment proposal. This one talks about artificial intelligence simulation system. So I know this one is exhibit 2, right? Principal risks. Principal risk is exhibit 3. You see, I'm just cross-referencing. Performance report. So I'm pretty sure this one is this one. Done. So I know which exhibit is this. This is all about, this all needs to be done in the 10-15 minutes. And then which one should I start with? You just decide which question looks most easy to you. So I can start with exhibit this one. I can start with principal risk because normally these are straightforward topics. I can start with this one. I don't know, it's all up to you. But the advantages of bringing all tasks on one page, which is scratch pad, okay, is that you will see all the requirements in one go and you'll be able to link which exhibit relates to which tasks. Do you understand this technique? I did not read the exhibit. Did you noted that? I just went through the exhibit, or even from the name, I was able to judge. So in the first 15 minutes, you're not going to read the exhibits. You just need to allocate this exhibit to which task. That's it. From the name, if you can guess, that's it. If you can't, then you open the exhibit and take a quick look. Yes, Sukana, that's fine. You will be able to figure that out. All right. So this is all we did. After this, you will draft, and your drafting will be 1.8 minutes per total marks. So if it's a 10 marks question, how much time is there for drafting? 18 minutes. So in this 18 minutes, so when we will read the exhibit? Tell me when we will read the exhibit line by line. Yes, we will read the exhibit in this 18-minute and then we have to draft it. So can you imagine how tight it is? So within this allowed 18 minutes, you have to first read the exhibit and then you have to think, identify points and draft. So you need to demonstrate little bit of speed, right? And the speed can only come through more and more practice. SBL is all about practice. Okay. And we will write short points. We will not go into lengthy explanations, short points, so that we are able to do it in 18 minutes. Okay. Now, this one is very important. Point number 5. Stop drafting and move to the next question as soon as the allowed time is up. So let's say we have allocated 18 minutes, right? And the 18 minutes are up. What do you do now? If the 18 minutes is up, what we will do? Yes, you will need to just complete that one paragraph which you are drafting, leave some space, and move to the next question. Do not overspend the time, because then you will fall in a time trap and it will affect your hijack. Now I know for a fact that a lot of students they are not able to do it. They don't have the guts to leave it and move to the next question. But what you need to realize is if you don't do it, you will miss 15 marks question in the end, right? That doesn't bother you. So you have two choices. If you spend more time in one question, then in the end, you will miss 15 marks because of bad time management. Is that acceptable? Or other option is you attempt all the questions, but you might miss out the last point. So guys, please follow this, all right? The second important thing is linking with the exhibit. So all your answers have to be linked with the exhibit, right? So how do we link it? It's very simple. Every point should start with a statement of fact, with a statement or a sentence which you copy paste from the exhibit and then you elaborate on it. That should be the drafting style throughout. Each paragraph, each point should always start with a statement of fact which you will pick up from the exhibit and then you can elaborate on it. Okay. 90 or let's say 85% of the information is in the exhibit, but from the pre-scene, you can pick up some information if required. Your first priority should be the exhibit. If you're able to cover all the required points to the exhibit, no need for pre-scene. But if you are not able to find sufficient points from the exhibit, then you can refer to pre-scene to add or fill more points. Clear? All right. Now, from the pre-scene, this one is very important. In all the pre-scenes I have seen to date, organizations' goals, objectives, and values are always given. That these are the goals and objectives and values of the organization. Also, financial information and statistics are given. When you are drafting your answer, these two you should always try to use in your answer. You have to memorize what are the goals, objective, and values of the organization. You have to memorize what are the financial and non-financial statistics available. And wherever you get a chance when you're drafting, you must try and include this from the pre-scene. For example, one of the values of the company is to have high motivated and satisfied customers. Okay, one of the value is having satisfied customers. We always try to satisfy our customer, right? And then when you come to the exhibit, there you see that customer complaints have significantly increased. So there you can always refer to this value and you say that customer complaints have gone up, and this is against the company's value of satisfied customers. See, always try to link the values to your answer. Is this clear? It's not difficult. When we will do practice, you will understand. The third thing is about a number of points. So how do we decide how many points are we supposed to write? So it's very simple rule of thumb. So usually one well-drafted point carries 2 marks. What did I say? One well-drafted point carries 2 marks. So can you tell me, if the question is 10 marks, how many points are required? If the question carries 10 marks, how many points are required? 5. Not 5 to 6, 5. Guys, don't say 5 to 6, 5. 10 divided by 2 is exactly 5. Okay? Don't try to give extra over points, otherwise you will not be able to finish in 18 minutes. 5. If the question carries 20 marks, how many points? 10 points. 20 divided by 2. Alas. Now a difficult question. If the question carries 15 marks, so 15 divided by 2 is 7.5, right? So 7 to 8. You can't give 7.5. So minimum 7, maximum 8. 7 to 8. Understood, guys? This is very important. Total marks divided by 2. Let me see. Let's go to this question. Task number 3. Let's see this. So this says prepare a report which assess the performance of Courgette in the latest financial year. Blah, blah, blah. 16 marks. And then how much is professional? 4 marks. So what is total marks? 20. So how many points should you write for part 3A? 16 plus 4, 20. 20 divided by 2, 10 points. You agree? 10 points? 10 points, Baba. 16 plus 4, 20. 20 divided by 2 is 10 points. Why the fuck your guys are saying 8? Are you not listening to me? 16 plus 4 professional. So total marks divided by 2. Total marks divided by 2. That's the formula. All right. So 16 plus 4 is 20. 20 divided by 2 is 10. Look at the next one. Blah, 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 blah. It is just 8 marks. There is no professional marks. So 8 divided by 2 is 4 points. Clear? Now, if the question says identify the weakness and give recommendation, Identify the weakness and give recommendation. Or the question says identify the risks and give recommendation. So will we make a tabular format? Will we make a tabular format? Yes or no? So in this, we will divide by 4 instead of 2. Why? Because 2 marks for weakness and 2 marks for the recommendation, total 4 marks. In order to decide the number of weaknesses we have to identify, we will divide by 4 because 2 marks for weakness and 2 marks for recommendation. So 2 plus 2 is 4. So we will divide by 4. So let's see an example. I think in this question, in this scenario, question number 2 was like that. Yeah. 2B. Draft a email, blah, 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 dynamic nature of principal risks and assess the potential consequence of each of these risks. Oh, this is a different kind of a question. Anyways, let's assume that it says give recommendations, just for argument's sake. So we have to identify the risks and give recommendations. For example, this one doesn't want recommendations, but let's say 10 plus 6, 16 plus 4 professional marks, 20. 20 divide by 4. I have to identify 5 risks and its consequences. Okay? 20 divided by 4 is 5 because you also have to include professional marks. All right. Is this clear, guys? Now, format of your answer. So first of all, we will always use a paragraph style of drafting. Clear? We will use a paragraph style of drafting. We will avoid bullet styles. Each point is a paragraph. Then I has mentioned that we will always start the point with an opening sentence or punchline copy pasted from the exhibit. Okay. Then all the high scorers, they give subheadings for each point. So each point should have a subheading. For example, if you're talking about low staff morale, so you can give the heading low staff morale, and then you can write in 3 lines. Okay. If you're talking about high customer complaints, you can give the subheading high customer complaints, and then you explain that point. Then you should leave 1 line between each para. 1 line between each point. And it's very simple. Just press enter button 2 times. That's it. And this one, maximum 3 to 4 lines. What should be the length of your para? Maximum 3 to 4 lines. Your point should not exceed more than 3 lines, 4 lines. Is that clear? Okay. The last thing about exam technique is bouncer question. Now, what is a bouncer question? I remember someone in the start has asked what is a bouncer question or how do we identify a bouncer question? Yes, Aman. Yes, Rabia. A bouncer question means that it goes over your head. You have no clue what the fuck it is. You understand? You will read the requirement and you will say, oh shit, what the hell this is? It could be either you don't understand, maybe you are not able to understand the requirement, or there is no information provided in the exhibit or the pre-scene. You understand? The bouncer question is normally it's a question where there is no information available. From where will you draft the answer when there is no exhibit and there is no information in the pre-scene? So from where the hell will I draft my answer? Right? It will give you a panic attack. That's a bouncer question. Normally, there is at least one bouncer question. At least one. It could be more, but at least one is always there because the examiner deliberately wants to test your stress management skills and see how you manage under certain conditions. So a bouncer question is a question where there is no information or you don't know how to answer or don't know what to do. So now, what do we do? What do we do with a bouncer question? Zaryab, it could be anything. So what do you suggest? It can be the first question, it can be in the middle, it can be in the last, it can be anywhere. What do we do with a bouncer question? The first thing is you should attempt this question in the last. The moment you identify, so it's simple rule, right? Easy questions first, difficult questions later. You know? Simple rule. We will always start with the easier questions first so that we can get some head start on the marks, and difficult questions I will later, and the most difficult bouncer I will keep it for the last. I will not attempt a bouncer question in between because it will fuck up my entire time and energy, right? So bouncer questions at the last, number one. Number two, I will not utilize the entire time in bouncer question. What do you think? I will not utilize I should not utilize the entire time in the bouncer question. For example, if it is worth 10 marks, how much time is allowed for 10 marks? 18 minutes, right? If I was smart, I will not I will not utilize full 18 minutes for bouncer question. Why? Why should I not utilize full 18 minutes for bouncer questions? Because I really don't know what to do there. I am just wasting my time. So I will just utilize 10 minutes, 12 minutes just to write some stupid stuff. I don't want to leave it empty. But if I save 5 or 10 minutes from there, I can add more points in the easier questions. Do you understand? Do you understand? Or let me repeat. So I will never utilize the full 18 minutes in a bouncer question. I will just utilize 50-60% of the time. Let's say 10 minutes just to fill up some space. And the remaining 8 minutes, I will go back to the easier questions and try to add more points so that I can cover up from there. Now, all this all this requires smartness and cunningness. If you go with a student mindset, you will be screwed. You will panic. You will go into anxiety attack. But if you go in the exam hall with a CFO mindset that no, I will do it, I'm the CFO, then you will be able to apply these things. You see, you understand? You have to be, a good CFO is always smart, street smart, and cunning. He knows where to spend time and he knows where not to spend time. So please, your mindset and all these techniques, they matter a lot. All right. Any questions? So we did a very important section right now, which is exam techniques, right? Most important. The first technique is time management. We are very clear that in the first 15 minutes, we will do our planning and linking with the exhibits, familiarizing ourselves with the tasks, deciding which one is easier question, which one is difficult. And for drafting, we will use 1.8 minutes per total marks. And as soon as the drafting time is up, we will leave that question incomplete and move to the next question. For linking of exhibit, it's very simple. We will always start with a punchline from the exhibit, and from the pre-scene, I will always try to, use refer to goals or any financial statistics as much as possible. From a number of points, it's very simple. Total marks divide by 2. And if it's a tabular question, then total marks divide by 4. Format of your answer is very straightforward. Each paragraph style of drafting, each paragraph should not be more than 3-4 lines. We always start with a punchline, one line between each para. And then the bouncer question, I will do it in the last. I will try not to utilize the full time, and I will save some time here and go back to the easier questions to add 1 or 2 extra points.